Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to have the opportunities to give you a presentation on effective pedestrian planning. To many people, I think pedestrian planning is something very straightforward, trivial, and easy to do. But I can show you that that's not really the case. It's easy if there's only one person, or it's just a few pedestrians around with a very wide roads, wide sidewalk or pavement. Depends if you're American or British. But in Hong Kong, everyone knows in Hong Kong we have a very high density population and we have scarcity of space. So, okay, let me see. So this is today my topic on so I will introduce some of the effective planning, but I'm not giving you a lecture. So I'm going to tell you some case studies that our company has done, and then also some findings of research projects in our company, try to compare the pedestrian behaviors of different Chinese cities and what we can go forward to further enhance the pedestrian planning. This is some of the photos that people are quite familiar with in all kinds of activities, like walking on street in Causeway Bay or Mong Kok, or everyday commuting by MTR and transfer at the MTR stations, and also some recreational activities like the race course. And all of that, you can see that we're talking about a cloudy situation. There's a cloud management, which is very important, and it become a very critical issues about the safety of people and the space are scared, and especially now things are getting more complicated, like the transport interchange, like in the MOT station. In a few years' time, it will become an interchange of 4 MTR lines. Now it's only 2, but there will be 4. And you can imagine there will be a lot of people interchanging at a limited space. Stadium, although Hong Kong is building another one, but in other cities in China or in Asia, they're talking about very big stadium. So we were talking about a really critical assignment of how to manage the crowd, like holding a mega event. And of course, Hong Kong, we not uncommon to see this mega event like the demonstration every now and then. So I don't know whether we have done any pedestrian planning on it. So the thing is, when I say efficient, it means how to do it properly, but also means it's not just provide a route for people to walk, but you have to let them walk effectively. So we have to improve the accessibility and the barrier-free access. Some case studies, traffic studies for MOT. That was the one that we have done a couple years ago. And objectives here is that is to resolve the traffic congestion, improve pedestrian safety, and provide good interchange environment. So this is not a traffic studies for vehicles, but also for vehicles, for pedestrians, for commuters. So it covers quite a wide number of the stakeholders on the street, including all kinds of vehicles and public transports. And there's 9 MTR entrance and exits, 177 franchise bus routes, underground and footbridge system, if you know MOT a lot. And also there will be also tourists going to Ocean Park and also a lot of school activities. So there's some key findings. I'm not going to repeat it, but you talk about a quick, large number of people, talk about almost 20,000 during the AM morning peak, and we talk about 177, almost 200 franchise bus routes with 680 buses, over 8,300 boardings alighting during the peak hours. And the MOT traffic is really the first kind of work that we work on by integrating the pedestrian and vehicle vehicular simulation. I mean, we have done in many traffic studies that doing simulation try to replicate the behavior of vehicles. We have also done separately some pedestrian simulation model to replicate the behavior of pedestrian. But it really is the first assignment that we have to integrate the pedestrian and vehicle simulation, because people might have to queue at the taxi rank or get on and off the bus and cross the street that in front of the bus stops, and there's an interaction between vehicles and pedestrians. And I'll show you some video about what we have done. So this one, we try to understand the commuter getting out from the MOT station. Okay. These tools shows how the people walks, and it's a lot of echoes. And it shows the critical areas in different colors, like the blue means that there's okay the level of surface, but we can identify the critical areas like this one outside the MOT station at the escalator. So this is a very congested area. That means we have to do something on it. And this shows that some of the measures we have to do to relieve those congested area, and we have proposed different measures like swapping the direction of the escalators and other improvement measures like realign the movement between the MTR station and escalator to the Queensway Plaza. And something that we found that in Hong Kong is not just the pedestrian walking around, but also there's also activities like people boarding and lighting the bus stop, and also there's also free deliver of these new free newspapers, and it will also affect the people's behavior. Some try to attract to get the newspaper and try to avoid the newspaper and things like that. So the simulation or the prediction of the pedestrian behavior somewhat difficult. And also, we have also looked at how to improve the mobility, not just for the vehicles, but also for the pedestrian, make sure that the conflict between pedestrian and traffic will come to the minimum. And we also have other studies like the Anderson Road Quarry. There's a development that will be housing quite a lot of residents there. And we have also looked at how to connect provide connections of the pedestrians or the residents to come down to the Guntong area. So there will be a lot of survey and studies. And as I mentioned, there will be more challenging work, like at Multi Station, there will be 4 MTR lines interchange there. And we also have some tools, try to provide so when we try to plan the internal wayfinding for people, we have these tools, try to show when someone design, we have some of our colleagues who don't know about the layout, who were not working on this project, and ask him to walk using these tools to behave as a pedestrian, especially the first time pedestrian that come to this interchange and try to see whether they can find a way interchange from one line to the other line. And if the directory is not clear enough or he has hesitations, that means that somewhere we can put better or clearer signage to let the people can move around effectively and reduce any hesitation or conflicts. I'm not going to show the whole video because of the timing. And this is some photos of showing some of our layman colleagues try to walk around using the tools and see whether that the wayfinding signage is good enough or not. There's also many applications of stations around Asia, and also it's not just for the station, but even for corporation. It is a big corporation in Shenzhen where they have a headquarters, and the assignment given to us was we have to design, look at the lobby. People estimate to have about 10,000 of their workers or their staff will coming in 1 hour in peak hours by coaches, and this is where they come out from the ground floor and go up to the lobby level and then go into the lift lobby. And then we can identify whether there will be enough space for people and where will be the congested area, and try to work with the architects to improve the layout of the building, because now we talk about a large number of people. And there's another project we have in Shanghai, and we try to look at uh, the customers walking around in their shopping mall. And because this is a shopping mall that also including just right at the MTR station there. So we also look at whether their entrance is good enough and where will be the congested area and how people move around. And then we identify that there will be some congestion in some particular area. And then we again work with the architects to improve the layout, like the location of the escalator or the entrance, and even there will be a wall that bottle as a bottleneck. There's another case studies that we're working on now is to working with the Hong Kong Jockey Cup, looking at the crowd management when there's horse racing, and we try to look into different situations or different event and looking at the magnitude of the people that going into the race course. And we have also done this Tsim Sha Tsui area improvement pedestrian studies, and as a result, you can see that we have proposed the widening of Canton Road pavement, widening the Nathan Road pavement, try to get back the space that losing to the vehicles before, and now getting back to the pedestrian. And this is a recent research project in our company. We try to look at whether there's any different behaviors of peoples in Shenzhen, in Shanghai, and Hong Kong. And we try to look at how people, the walking speeds and things like that. And this is some of the comparisons. What a surprise to me when I look at the results when my colleague gave me it is, oh, how come Hong Kong people walk slow compared to Shanghai and Shenzhen? Similar to our container throughput, we are behind them soon. I mean, we are behind Shanghai now, but we are going to be behind Shenzhen somehow. And then I asked them to look into what's the situation. Is it because Hong Kong people has a more aging population now, and so we walk slower? The feedback is after they check their video and try to find that is, one is the selection of the place to get these statistics is not really 100% comparable, because what we choose the place is busier, and that means you are not free to maneuver around. So that's why you have to walk slower, because there's more people in the situation in Hong Kong. So sometimes we cannot be fooled by the numbers. We have to look into the reasons. This shows one of the reasons. We are not slow, we're still fast, but because we are denser, we are busier. So that's why we comparatively walking slower. But that means we need to get more space, especially from the cars. That could be one of the conclusions. And there's also some numbers that we try to look into, but this shows a quite interesting research. And in fact, I am applying further funds from our company to do further research on that. So what's next? We would recommend, I can show you all kinds of case studies we have done. One thing very important, and I have shown it could be misleading, is the on-site observation and understanding of behavior are very important, are key. And simple arrangement, sometimes it's not to be expensive, can resolve problems. And because pedestrian movement is not linear, it's dynamic. Video survey is not just often helps, but it's, as I would say, vital. It's not just based on the boring number, but it's very important to just look into the behavior of people in different situations. up a big database on that. Adequate use of behavioral parameters, that is something very engineering. The way forward, there's something that, as I said, we would like to enrich pedestrian database for other major cities within East Asia, and we welcome any collaborations to work on this. And for different pedestrian types, for sure their behavior are different. There's something that we need to build up that to come up with a effective pedestrian planning. I think that's the conclusion of my speech this morning.